do we know this is safe?
Define safe. Your brain waves send the necessary data to pinpoint whatever corner of the universe Barry is stuck in.
Joe?
Good to see you, Barry.
But I'm not Joe.
Get him out, damn it. You can get him out,
I don't
can't
know
you?
if I can.
Please let me go back right now. My whole world is in danger.
You're not going back.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. We finally got a trailer for next week's Kevin Smith episode. It's called The Runaway Dinosaur, so let's break it down. There are two big storylines. You have the stuff that's going on in Star Labs, or actually three storylines because there's two different things going on in Star Labs. You have them trying to figure out what's going on with Barry, where he went, how to bring him back, and then you have Zombie Girder. If you remember, he was a Season 1 character from the episode where Barry learned how to do the supersonic punch. And the third storyline is where Barry is, which I think is going to be a version of the Speed Force. The way it's coming across in the trailer is him being stuck in this otherworldly place with beings that exist outside of space-time because they're speaking to him through people that he knows in places that he knows. Like you have him talking to the Iris character, you have him talking to Joe, you need to let me leave, I need to go home, and they're saying, oh, you're never leaving. So it sounds like all this is just this environment created from his memories. So I'm assuming that he is now pure energy and he is stuck inside the Speed Force, and this is going to be how they depict it. There have been a couple times in the comics when speedsters have either turned into pure Speed Force, like disappeared into the Speed Force, or they turned into lightning or some other form of energy. Like a long time ago, Barry turned into the bolt of lightning that gave him powers originally, like his life became this electrical circuit that he traveled. Way back when Jay Garrick was fighting against his version of the Reverse Flash, which was called Edward Claris, he was also called The Rival. The Rival disappeared into the Speed Force, but he came back like he rematerialized as pure energy and inhabited the body of Max Mercury. So you had like an evil Max Mercury running around with Speed Force powers, but it was really Edward Claris inhabiting his body. I don't think The Flash is going to get that weird, but the actual trailer itself for the episode just gets so weird, and that is what I love about The Flash, is that it gets way weirder than a lot of the other DC shows. If you ever watched Hannibal, that's a show that got really weird and psychological. The Flash is definitely not that weird, but it's definitely pushing in that direction. Just the idea that Barry has turned into pure energy and is now talking to ethereal beings that I'm assuming they'll explain in the episode. Because in the comics previously, when characters get stuck in the Speed Force, there's not like other people that they're talking to in there. Unless Barry Allen is fighting the Reverse Flash, like that's the only other time you see characters talking to other characters inside the Speed Force. So what might be happening in this episode is Barry is really just talking to himself. Like maybe he's manifested this from his mind, and when Joe is talking to him saying, oh, we're never going to let you leave, it's like Barry's telling himself that, like he won't let himself move forward. So he has to jump over like this big mental hurdle. Like imagine the psychological journey of the Flash this season, you know, recognizing his own self-worth, making peace with his demons, coming to the conclusion that he is an awesome person so that he can beat the shit out of Zoom. So that might be what's happening in this episode, where he comes to the conclusion that like, oh, I can totally do this. I'm a total badass, and then just kind of reforms out of the Speed Force. But the other really awesome, weird thing about it is the title, The Runaway Dinosaur. What does that title mean? Look way down here in the corner. The Runaway Dinosaur is the title of this children's book. So it looks like in his mind, like in the Speed Force, he's manifested this construct of the night that his mother was murdered. So he goes back to the beginning. I love the way the Flash travels in a circuit just like he does in the comics. It always revolves around specific moments, so no matter how far he travels, he always comes back to the point of origin. But I do think they'll have some fun with the idea of runaway dinosaurs in jokes that they make, like verbal references. But let me know, what do you think happened to Barry? Do you think he's inside the Speed Force? Do you think he's somewhere else? He's definitely not on another planet. I do like the theory that he's jumped to another dimension, but like I said, I still think that he's inside the Speed Force. We'll just have to wait and see how the show explains that, because there are just a number of different directions they could take it. Because remember, they're changing a few things from the comics, so the Speed Force on the TV show isn't exactly like the Speed Force in the comics, but it's pretty close. What about the costume though? It totally got shredded. A lot of you have been asking, is he gonna get a new suit now? They do change the suit just a little bit every year. Even within each year, they make additions, like Cisco adds tech here and there. It could be that they're redesigning like a completely different suit that'll look way more badass. So the odds are 50-50 on a completely new suit redesign, especially going into season 3. But for those of you who are asking, next big video is going to be Captain America Easter eggs. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to see the movie. If you haven't, tell them to shut up and take my money. While you guys wait for my next video to post, you can click here for my non-spoilery Captain America Civil War review, and you can click here to start getting ready for Game of Thrones this weekend. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.